Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neil. Jataka number 386. Kharaputta-Jātaka. Goats are stupid, etc. The master told this tale in Jataka monastery, concerning temptation of a brother by his former wife. When the brother confessed that he was longing for the world, the master said, "Brother, this woman does you harm. Formerly also you came into the fire through her and were saved from death by sages," so he told an old tale. Once upon a time when a king named Seneca was reigning in Benares, the bodhisattva was Saka. The king Seneca was friendly with a certain Naga king. This Naga king, they say, left the Naga world and ranged the earth seeking food. The village boys seeing him said, "This is a snake," and struck him with stones and other things. The king, going to amuse himself in his garden, saw them, and being told they were beating a snake, said, "Don't let them beat him, drive them away." And this was done. So the Naga king got his life, and when he went back to the Naga world, he took many jewels, and coming at midnight to the king's bedchamber he gave them to him, saying, "I got my life through you." So he made friendship with the king and came again and again to see him. He appointed one of his Naga girls, insatiate in pleasures, to be near the king and protect him. And he gave the king a charm, saying, "If ever you do not see her, repeat this charm." One day the king went to the garden with the Naga girl and was amusing himself in the lotus tank. The Naga girl seeing a water snake left her human shape and made love with him. The king not seeing the girl said, "Where is she gone?" and repeated the spell. Then he saw her in her misconduct and struck her with a piece of bamboo. She went in anger to the Naga world, and when she was asked, "Why are you come?" she said, "Your friend struck me on the back because I did not do his asking," showing the mark of the blow. The Naga king, not knowing the truth, called 4 Naga youths and sent them with orders to enter Seneca's bed chamber and destroy him like chaff by the breath of their nostrils. They entered the chamber at the royal bedtime. As they came in, the king was saying to the queen, "Lady, do you know where the Naga girl has gone?" "King, I do not. Today when we were bathing in the tank, she left her shape and misconducted herself with a water snake. I said, 'Don't do that,' and struck her with a piece of bamboo to give her a lesson. And now I fear she may have gone to the Naga world and told some lie to my friend, destroying his goodwill to me." The young Nagas hearing this turned back at once to the Naga world and told their king. He being moved went instantly to the king's chamber, told him all and was forgiven. Then be said, "In this way I make amends," and gave the king a charm giving knowledge of all sounds. This, O king, is a priceless spell. If you give anyone this spell you will at once enter the fire and die. The king said, "It is well," and accepted it. From that time he understood the voice even of ants. One day he was sitting on the dais eating solid food with honey and molasses. And a drop of honey, a drop of molasses, and a morsel of cake fell on the ground. An ant seeing this comes crying, "The king's honey jar is broken on the dais, his molasses cart and cake cart are upset. Come and eat honey and molasses and cake." The king hearing the cry laughed. The queen being near him thought, "What has the king seen that he laughs?" When the king had eaten his solid food and bathed and sat down cross-legged, a fly said to his wife, "Come, lady, let us enjoy love." She said, "Excuse me for a little, husband, they will soon be bringing perfumes to the king. As he perfumes himself some powder will fall at his feet. I will stay there and become fragrant, then we will enjoy ourselves lying on the king's back." The king hearing the voice laughed again. The queen thought again, "What has he seen that he laughs?" Again when the king was eating his supper, a lump of rice fell on the ground. The ants cried, "A wagon of rice has broken in the king's palace, and there is none to eat it." The king hearing this laughed again. The queen took a golden spoon and helping him thought, "Is it at the sight of me that the king laughs?" She went to the bedchamber with the king and at bedtime she asked, "Why did you laugh, O king?" He said, "What have you to do with why I laugh?" But being asked again and again he told her. Then she said, "Give me your spell of knowledge." He said, "It cannot be given." But though repulsed, she pressed him again. The king said, "If I give you this spell, I shall die. Even though you die, give it me." The king, being in the power of womankind, saying, "It is well," consented and went to the park in a chariot, saying, "I shall enter the fire after giving away this spell." At that moment, Saka, king of gods, looked down on the earth and seeing this case said, "This foolish king, knowing that he will enter the fire through womankind, is on his way. I will give him his life." So he took Suja, daughter of the Asuras, and went to Benares. He became a he-goat and made her a she-goat, and resolving that the people should not see them, he stood before the king's chariot. The king and the sind asses yoked in the chariot saw him, but none else saw him. For the sake of starting talk he was as if making love with the she-goat. One of the sind asses yoked in the chariot seeing him said, "Friend goat, we have heard before, but not seen, that goats are stupid and shameless. But you are doing, with all of us looking on, this thing that should be done in secret and in a private place, and are not ashamed. What we have heard before agrees with this that we see." And so he spoke the first stanza. "Goats are stupid," says the wise man, "and the words are surely true. This one knows not he's parading what in secret he should do." The goat hearing him spoke two stanzas. "Oh, Sir Donkey, think and realize your own stupidity. You're tied with ropes, your jaw is wrenched, and very downcast is your eye. When you're tied, you don't escape, sir, that's a stupid habit too. And that Seneca you carry, he's more stupid still than you." The king understood the talk of both animals, and hearing it he quickly sent away the chariot. The ass hearing the goat's talk spoke the fourth stanza. "Well, Sir King of Goats, you fully know my great stupidity. But how Seneca is stupid, please do explain to me." The goat explaining this spoke the fifth stanza. "He who his own special treasure on his wife will throw away, cannot keep her faithful ever and his life he must betray." The king hearing his words said, "King of Goats, you will surely act for my advantage. Tell me now what is right for me to do." Then the goat said, "King, to all animals no one is dearer than self. It is not good to destroy oneself and abandon the honor one has gained for the sake of anything that is dear." So he spoke the sixth stanza. "A king, like you, may have conceived desire, and yet renounced it if his life's the cost. Life is the chief thing. What can man seek higher? If life's secured, desires need never be crossed." So the Bodhisattva encouraged the king. The king, delighted, asked, "King of Goats, from where come you?" "I am Saka, O king, come to save you from death out of pity for you." "King of gods, I promised to give her the charm. What am I to do now? There is no need for the ruin of both of you. You say, it is the way of the craft, and have her beaten with some blows. By this means she will not get it." The king said, "It is well," and agreed. The Bodhisattva after advice to the king went to Saka's heaven. The king went to the garden, had the queen summoned and then said, "Lady, will you have the charm?" "Yes, lord." "Then go through the usual custom." "What custom?" 100 stripes on the back, but you must not make a sound." She consented through greed for the charm. The king made his slaves take whips and beat her on both sides. She endured 2 or 3 stripes and then cried, "I don't want the charm." The king said, "You would have killed me to get the charm," and so flogging the skin off her back he sent her away. After that she could not bear to talk of it again. At the end of the lesson the master explained the truths, and identified the birth. At the end of the truths, the brother was established in the first path. At that time the king was the discontented brother, the queen his former wife, the horse Sariputra, and Saka was myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neil. Jataka number 387. Sūci-Jātaka. Quickly threaded, etc. The master told this tale while living in Jataka monastery, concerning the perfection of wisdom. The occasion of the tale will be given in the Mahamagga. The master addressed the brethren, "This is not the first time the Tathagata is wise and skilled in clever means," and so he told an old tale. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was king in Benares, the Bodhisattva was born in the kingdom of Kasi in a smith's family, and when he grew up he became excellent in the craft. His parents were poor. Not far from their village was another smith's village of 1,000 houses. The principal smith of the 1,000 was a favorite of the king, rich and of great substance. His daughter was exceedingly beautiful, like to a nymph of heaven, with all the auspicious signs of a lady of the land. People came from the villages round to have razors, axes, plowshares, and lashes made, and generally saw that girl. When they went back to their own villages, they praised her beauty in the places where men sit and elsewhere. The Bodhisattva, being attracted by merely hearing of her, thought, "I will make her my wife." So he took iron of the best kind, and made one delicate strong needle which pierced dice and floated on water. Then he made a sheath for it of the same kind and pierced dice with it. And in the same way he made 7 sheaths. How he made them is not to be told, for such work prospers through the greatness of Bodhisattva's knowledge. Then he put the needle in a tube and placing it in a case he went to that village and asked for the street where the head smith's house was. Then standing at the door he said, "Who will buy for money from my hand a needle of this kind?" Describing the needle, and so standing by the head smith's house he spoke the first stanza. Quickly threaded, smooth and straight. Polished with emery. Sharp of point and delicate. Needles. Who will buy? After this he praised it again and spoke the second stanza. Quickly threaded, strong and straight. Rounded properly. Iron they will penetrate. Needles. Who will buy? At that moment the girl was fanning her father with a palm leaf as he lay on a little bed to ease discomfort after his early meal. And hearing the Bodhisattva's sweet voice, as if she had been sickened by a fresh lump of meat, and had the discomfort extinguished by 1,000 pots of water, she said, "Who is this hawking needles with sweet voice in a village of smiths? For what business has he come? I will find out." So laying down the palm fan she went out and spoke with him outside, standing in the veranda. The purpose of Bodhisattvas prospers. It was for her sake he had come to that village. She speaking with him said, "Young man, dwellers in all the kingdom come to this village for needles and the like. It is in wrongdoing you wish to sell needles in a village of smiths. Though you tell about the praise of your needle all day no one will take it from your hand. If you wish to get a price, go to another village." So she spoke 2 stanzas. Our hooks are sold, both up and down. Men know our needles well. We all are smiths in this good town. Needles. Who can sell? In iron work we have renown. In weapons we excel. We all are smiths in this good town. Needles. Who can sell? The Bodhisattva hearing her words said, "Lady, you say this not knowing and in ignorance." And so he spoke 2 stanzas. Though all are smiths in this good town, yet skill can needles sell. For masters in the craft will own a first-rate article. Lady, if once your father know this needle made by me, on me your hand he would give, and all his property. The head smith hearing all their talk called his daughter and asked, "Who is that you are talking to?" "Father, a man selling needles." "Then call him here." She went and called him. The Bodhisattva saluted the head smith and stood by. The head smith asked, "Of what village are you?" "I am of such a village and son of such a smith." "Why are you come here?" "To sell needles." "Come, let us see your needle." The Bodhisattva, wishing to tell about his qualities among them all, said, "Is not a thing seen in the midst of all better than one seen by each singly?" "Quite right, friend." So he gathered all the smiths together and in their midst said, "Sir, take the needle." "Master, have an anvil brought in a bronze dish full of water. This was done. The bodhisattva took the needle tube from the wrapper and gave it to them. The headsmith taking it asked, "Is this the needle?" "No, it is not the needle, it is the sheath." He examining could not see end nor tip. The bodhisattva, taking it from them, removed the sheath with his nail and showing it to the people with "This is the needle, this is the sheath." He put the needle in the master's hand and the sheath at his feet. Again when the master said, "This is the needle, I suppose," he answered, "This too is a needle sheath." Then he struck it off with his nail, and so he laid 6 sheaths in succession at the headsmith's feet and saying, "Here is the needle," laid it on his hand. The 1,000 smiths snapped their fingers in delight, and the waving of cloths began. Then the headsmith asked, "Friend, what is the strength of this needle?" "Master, have this anvil raised up by a strong man and a water vessel set under the anvil. Then strike the needle straight into the anvil." He had this done and struck the needle by the point into the anvil. The needle piercing the anvil lay across on the surface of the water, not moving a hair's breadth up or down. All the smiths said, "We have never heard all this time even by rumor that there are such smiths as this." So they snapped their fingers and waved 1,000 cloths. The headsmith called his daughter and in the midst of the assembly saying, "This girl is a suitable match for you," he poured water on them and gave her away. And afterwards when the headsmith died, the bodhisattva became headsmith in the village. After the lesson, the master explained the truths and identified the birth. The smith's daughter was Rahul's mother, the clever young smith was myself.